Hi, everyone. We are officially in Gemini season, so we wanted to bring you a Gemini reading today with some tarot and oracle. And my name is Anna,
My name's Mark.
and our business is Markiana Wellness. So we used to do tarot meditation videos quite a bit on our Instagram. Actually, before we even made our official business Instagram, we used to do it on our personal. And it's been quite a while since we've done just like a tarot video. We obviously do the oracle meditations now that come out every Wednesday, but we thought it'd be fun with it being the first day of Gemini season to kind of get back into the swing of doing our seasonal readings. So we are each going to pull three cards from two different tarot decks, and then we have an oracle deck that we'll use as well. But I think most of y'all know we are both Geminis, so it's our season of the year, and we're just excited to have our birthdays coming up and just see what comes up in the cards. And
We have a lot of stuff coming up this month with family, which is going to be really fun. So we're excited for the Gemini season.
yeah, I mean, it is kind of that going into summer, even though technically the last day of Gemini season is the summer solstice leading into actual summer. But we'll plan to continue doing these readings with every change of season. It may not always be on the first day of it. I won't promise that, but it just happened to work out that we could today, and we will see what comes up. So we'll sage our decks, and we're using our dragon's blood sage. So it's sage dipped in dragon's blood resin, and it just kind of gives it a different smell and just a little bit different smoke.
They look like that.
Yeah, we just got a new one actually, because that one's kind of a stump now.
Yeah, it's on the tail end.
But the deck I'll be using today, it's called the Sacred Web.
And the one I'm using is the Tattoo Tarot. And the Oracle deck we decided to use today is the Higher Self Oracle.
And we'll tag all of these in the comments so you can see which decks we're using. And we'll each pull three from the tarot, and then we'll do one of the oracle.
All right. Sounds good.
So, what is the energies we want to be mindful of during this season of Gemini?
I think we always feel strong in this season because, it's warm outside. We're all outside and enjoying the weather and just feeling excited and brand new, all these opportunities and things going on. It's so fun. And we love being a part of all that stuff. So this is really our time of year.
Yeah, and as you may know, Gemini is an air sign. So in the tarot, that's represented by the swords. We'll see if any of that comes up. Ruled by planet Mercury. So Gemini is all about communication and really just kind of the duality of self and being able to, I like to think, flex into different environments, being flexible, being adaptable.
Mhm.
And sometimes we get bored a little easy.
And
So we like to be very engaged.
right, we do get bored very easily. And we also, the lovers is the Gemini card.
Hmm.
So that makes sense with us also. And all Geminis really, Geminis love to get into everything, really.
So I'm pulling more of fire cards actually. Pulled two fire cards.
I'm pulling all majors.
You are. Oh, I don't recognize that
I
one.
don't either.
It's fun, like when we work with a lot of different decks, and we'll pull from it and never have seen that card before. And that's the case with one of these,
You'll see where it goes.
which it's Four of Swords.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I haven't seen that one from this deck before. Hmm.
All right, so I'll pull one from the Oracle.
Okay. I guess we can both pull one.
Yeah, might as well.
Okay.
Lana. Patience.
I got ask for guidance. And if you'll notice, Mark got the one that is the cover of that.
Of the
So I
box. That's
recognize
cool.
that. Yeah. So I'll tell you what my three cards are first, and then we'll kind of go through his and what this represents. So I have Source of Fire, and I'll make sure which one Source actually is as far as the court cards go. And then Ace of Wands. And I think this is their version of Pentacles, 5.
Those are
I'll
cool.
have to make sure. I forget about this one. You know, when different decks use different things to represent suits, it can be tricky
I really like the
to
artwork
remember all those.
on this deck. I got Temperance and Death and the Four of Swords. So I'll start by kind of talking about mine here. So temperance, temperance can represent moderation, or alchemy, taking and blending different parts of ourself, or just communicating with others and really getting out there and really too representing that patience. So I thought that was interesting. I drew patience with my oracle card also. So really representing the alchemy of life, being patient, learning how to blend and mold all parts of ourselves and also to merge into society or community to help lift each other up. So I like that temperance card. And then next I got death. So to me, death, it just always symbolizes not that literal death necessarily, but a death of something, that may be going on. It's something's coming to an end in our life. It could be just a bad situation or just something we're trying to resolve. It could represent anything like that in our life that is really coming to an end. Um, I don't really know what that is right now for me, except that I just went to the chiropractor and like started seeing the chiropractor, which I used to be like really scared of that and thought it was kind of a bad thing for some reason. And once I started, I've been working out a lot and exercising, so my body has just felt like something was off. So the chiropractor got me all lined up. So I feel like there's almost just a death to that situation where it's like, man, I just need to get something straightened out in my body. And then Four of Swords. So the swords represents that intellect or mind, air energy, which is Gemini. So I am always kind of in my mind. And to me, the Four of Swords represents like trying to find some stability here because, we're kind of just in outer space a little bit. I feel like we're, in our mind, but we're also really dreaming. So it's a card of almost rest to me in the mind. And that way we can rest our body. So that kind of makes sense with the full spread being temperance and then kind of death to this situation. And then that rest that I'm able to go into, I feel like from resolving this. So anytime we find something with our body that we want to resolve and we find out that or find ways to help that, it makes me feel excited. So I think that was really good for going into this season.
Hmm. Did you talk about this?
Oh, patience. So, man, I've been working on this a lot, which I would say I'm always working on it. I'm one of those people that is pretty assertive, I would say, but also kind of quiet about it. But I don't like to wait for things. I always want what I want when I want it, like everyone else. But, we always have to learn how to just make sure everybody's getting what they need. I feel like I want to be patient and just be calm and learn how to observe what is needed around me so I can just be my best. So always working on patience.
Yeah. I know I've gained a lot of patience since we've been together.
Is that a
Would you
compliment?
agree?
Is that a compliment?
I think so.
Oh, okay,
You've
yes.
helped me.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so my first card was Source of Fire, which in the court cards represents the queen. So really this card is kind of like two hands being held and just fire coming out of them. So really just letting that, that source, whatever that means to you, of what really ignites the creativity in you, just being really confident in that and just using that energy to kind of again alchemize those things that we want to burn away so that we can really put our energy into the things that we really feel benefited by or feel fulfilled by. And when it comes to that fire, passions, the things that we really want to make more of and make more time to do, I think this is a good time of year to kind of recommit to things. We're kind of midway through the year almost. So if you've had things that you've been working on, or maybe goals that you had, or even haven't started yet that you intended to, I think using that energy of that fire to really transform and get you to where you want to be that maybe you haven't dedicated enough time to yet. And that's just, I think, a good reminder that it's never too late to start something. And especially when it's something you're passionate about, just giving yourself the time and space to do that is a great reminder, which comes in next as the Ace of Wands. So that is like starting something new. So really like having that source and then the power to ignite that to really create something and be at that starting point of what the ace represents. It just shows, you have that power to get that going and to ignite that fire and just allow that creativity really to blossom and, not let it fizzle out. And lastly here, forget what they just call it suit of earth, but it's like the yin and yang symbols. So this one's their version of pentacles. And five of pentacles, to me, that one's kind of showing just to be like steadfast. The fives can be a little more of conflicting numbers when it comes to the suits, but to me, it's showing like you kind of have these resources around you and to use them as needed, but not to let them run out either. So to really recognize like, if you're eating the leaves of this thing that you're living on, you don't want it to wither away. And if this little animal's like eating one of the leaves from this flower, and if all of those were gone, then it couldn't still keep growing, right? So I think it's kind of noticing where you're at and like using your resources wisely so that that flower can still keep growing because it needs, the petals or the leaves to absorb that energy from the sun.
Hmm.
So that's kind of what I see from that one. And then as far as asks for guidance goes, I know I'm one that often thinks I can do everything myself, but know that that's not always true. So just being able to recognize when I am in a place that I may need some help or just have someone that I know is maybe wiser than me in a certain area that I can learn from and not being afraid to ask for that when maybe I feel a connection to somebody that I think I could learn from or be like a mentor type figure and just like letting that kind of she has like the third eye showing right here on this girl. So to me that thinks too just like letting other people who can be your guides or even if that is, your spirit guides or whatever that means to you, just to allow that energy to enter.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're gonna read a
What
little
do
more
you
about that
think?
one, or
I was gonna look, yeah.
okay. I think it's pretty cool. I mean, we can always learn to find the alchemy in life and with others, so we can find balance. We don't want to be in a constant war with ourselves or everyone else. So, to me, that death card represents letting things mentally and physically, fall away that are no longer us so that we can have a little mental rest
Hmm.
so that we can move into like your cards telling that whole story across the line, moving into that fire energy to blossom
Hmm.
and not let it wither away by being mindful, steadfast.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
So if any of that resonates with you, then that's a message you can take into Gemini season. And if you are someone that does tarot already, it's a great time to check in on this monthly basis as the astrological season changes, just to see maybe what's going on or what you should be paying attention to. And if you found that any of the things we said, feel like they connect with you right now, then I'm grateful for that.
Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we're so excited to make more of these videos. Please send us your feedback and subscribe to our channel.
All right. We'll see you all again sometime soon.
Bye.